Hey there guys and gals. Today we're going to be looking at, I would say it was an unboxing, but it was a struggle to get all this stuff out of the tube that it came in, but I'll get into that a bit later. This will be the first video where I'm using the microphone on the OBS bot Tiny Light 2 by itself. So this is a good test of what it's going to sound like in the near future, because maybe I don't have to plug in the torch at all. Maybe I just have to keep this microphone going and bam, we're all set, all good to go. This is a Sabermaster map pack, and I go on Amazon all the time, and I see like these D&D sets. I'm like, all right, cool, I'm going to grab this one. This looks like it's pretty good. It has a bunch of maps in it. It is advertised as having 32 maps, but that's because there are 16 maps total, but they're all double-sided, and they come in 3 different sizes, which we will get into eventually. But the first thing I want to note is that it comes in one of those cool new type extendable poster tubes, which in and of themselves are honestly relatively expensive because they do this. They can get so long at max. This is as far as it's going to go. No, there's still a bit more. You have to pull the strap out and make it longer. I'm going the wrong way. Oh my god, this is so weird because it's backwards for me. You extend the tube, choose. Once you've locked it in place, you can choose a new size, but this particular poster kit, this map set, came with so much stuff pushed into this tube that it took me like a good 5 minutes to pull everything out. I was like, oh man, there's a lot of stuff. So not only in addition to the maps, you get some extra accessories in this Sabermaster set. You get 6 of these edge guards for your posters, which we'll get into a little bit later. I'm only holding 3 of them. All the ones in this set are the same size. They're 16 inches across. Now, that's great because you can use them on all of the posters, but not all of the posters are 16 inches wide, so keep that in mind. You might not be able to place them fully on all the sides of a map when you're looking at it, but there are 6 of them in here. And the reason why these particular guides are great are because if you can put them all down on a map, you can keep the map from folding back up, especially if you've had it rolled up like in a poster tube, which is fantastic. I was like, oh, I've never seen those before. I'm sure lots of people from other hobbies use these, but these can be super helpful to you as a dungeon master or a game master or whatever to hold your maps down if you've had them furled up for a while. The next accessory you get are dry erase markers. You get 3 black and 1 red. I'm not going to say no to free dry erase markers because I love dry erase markers, but just the fact that 3 of them are the same color is a little strange to me. Then you get a set of dice. I do not know if the sets of dice are different, like depending on if they're randomly inserted, but mine are solid black with white lines, so they're very, very, very easy to read. And I'm fine with that. If you saw this particular cap, you might think, oh, I have to pull this off to get at my items. And it does, in fact, have a little grip area here, but this is just a cover for the edge to make sure that it doesn't crack. The poster tube is screw on, screw off. Like so. I have had one of these. Grimjack and I both use these kind of poster tubes at Comic-Con now. He found them. They're relatively expensive, comparatively speaking, to the other ones because they telescope. But this cap is very necessary because the ends of this tube can and will crack, but this one is more, the top is more likely to crack than the bottom. And then you get not 1, but 2 whiteboard erasers, which is kind of cool. So we're going to break down these maps easy peasy into their 3 like constituent sets. So we're going to start with the set down here. And we'll look at the one that I already have in the grid, or rather with the guides. Like I said, each of these are 16 inches long, so they don't actually fit on, like you won't be able to put all 4 of them on comfortably on some of the maps because of their size. But this tells me that this particular map is 16 by 16. So let's just take a gander. Sorry, 17 by 17. So these grippies might actually be 17 inches across. Oh, they're a little bit shorter. Just a little bit. The same thing over here. But I believe that this is a square. I'm getting 17 by 17. Ish. The maps, I like this art style. This art style makes sense to me. It's realistic enough, but still gives you that fantasy evocation. It's not really like this medieval fantasy type deal. This is a throne room of some kind, but probably in an abandoned area. Then you flip them over. Each and every map is double-sided. So, different area. I will say that this side of the map kind of sort of seems like image quality-wise, and you can see that I had a bit of trouble getting the guides in here, and I actually damaged the map. Sometimes they can be a pain to really slide on. But, as you can see from this one, I only have 3 of them on, and they're keeping this map from rolling itself back up, which is perfect for me. I like that. This side of the map appears to have... The best way I can describe it is that this image was either very much smaller or it's been re-rendered multiple times. So, like, the art on this map in particular seems to be less... It's not as high fidelity as the other side of the map. Like, you can tell that this one either was enlarged a whole bunch of times or, like, it was re-rendered multiple times and the art suffered for it. We got inside the castle here. Now, I'm not going to try to take these off and put them on every map because I'm bad at it, apparently, and I don't want to damage everyone. I know it's going to take a while, so instead, I'm just going to lay things on the edges of the other maps in this set so I can show them to you. We have a castle map here. The next map we have, totally different art style, probably from a different book, but it looks like the top of a tower. There's like a river of blood or scarlet rot around, way less detailed items, or like skeletons and stuff left behind than the previous map we looked at. Totally different artist and art style, seems like. There's a ritual happening here. We flip the map over, and this gives me the most like FromSoft vibes I've ever seen. It could be the same place, or it just could be a similar area where like there's a tower that should be there, but it looks like it's mostly destroyed at this point. It could be the same place, but on different planes of existence, maybe. But this is huge, like FromSoft ruins vibes. Next map up is like a bridge over troubled lava, which could totally fit in with that other piece of terrain, that light up piece of magma that I got recently. I could use that on this for sure. Then we flip this one over. We flip that map over and we get to one that is possibly the most Kaled coated map I've ever seen. There's no way, like, sure there's lava in there, but the rest of this just looks like it was totally infected by the scarlet rot. Okay, I see we're going with a FromSoft vibe with some of these maps. Now, I did not try to put the grid on this one yet, but there is quite a bit of damage over here on this one. Looks like it got punched a couple times, like someone tried to close the top of the map while they were like folding it up. But this is a cool little temple. Got a little bit of an Egyptian theme here, kinda, sorta. You can put some mummies in here, but there's also a lot of water. This could be a nice temple in the middle of the oasis. There's even some cool, like it was supposed to connect to another map on the outside. I like that. Another pathway on this side. Flip it over though. Oh, and we've got a much more Asian-themed area as opposed to Egypt. This just looks like a large building. Could be a temple, could be like a little dojo that people train in. You could put like a little Zen garden in the middle there if you wanted to. Okay, so we got a little bit of Egypt, a little bit of Asia. Next map up is like a jungle pass with a little bit of a river. And it looks like there's a bunch of smaller stones in the water. You could have those be whatever you want, but maybe your party has to ford this little bit of river. Who knows what's lurking underneath? Maybe a swarm of quippers. Maybe a swarm of piranhas. Who knows? On the other side is like a jungle hideaway. There's a cave here with bones coming out of it. You can tell a story clearly. There's a creature of some kind that lives in there. But there's also like this weird, I don't know, monument in the center, maybe? Or maybe that's where the last party was, and they literally like earth-bended the earth around themselves to keep themselves safe. This is an interesting map. You can use this for a lot. You could even have this be part of like your party's very first adventure where they go out and they're like, we have to go track this beast And then you find out maybe it's not a beast. It's someone cursed. Ooh! And now we come to the final 17 by 17 square map. Which is Arctic themed. Have a bridge over frozen. You could say that this water's frozen, or you could say that there's just a layer of ice above it and there's moving water underneath. You can't really tell. Like, the way it's done, it looks like there is in fact movement in the water, but you're not quite sure. Little cartoony skeletons over here. It definitely seems like not all the maps come from the same author. And that's fine. You want variety because you want to be able to do as much stuff as possible. This is the first one we've got in the tundra, though. What's on the other side? Is it also tundra themed? Nope. Now we're back in the forest or the jungle, and there's a much wider river, but it looks like the water's moving a bit faster. There's even some fish in there if your players want to go fishing, because listen, everything has a fishing minigame. That's just the way the world works. We're going to move on to the next size. The next size of maps are 12 by 16, so I actually did these out of order. It's just the first ones that I grabbed were those 16 by 16 squares. These ones are slightly smaller. This is definitely something's lair, or like a bandit lair out in the tundra. This is good stuff. You can definitely use this for a ton of stuff. A little bit cartoony, kind of like the last map, but that's fine. But also, you can tell again that like this map, the file was either lower fidelity or it was re-rendered a whole bunch of times. There's a bit of like artifacting on it, but that's fine. Your players are not going to be mad about it. They're just going to be happy they have a map. And if they're not, they shouldn't even be your players in the first place. The nice little inside, little cave for you to enter from with a very, very tiny entrance point. This could be the secret passage. There's also another entrance over here, or it could be an exit with like some weird floral growths going that way. So maybe there's a druid that lives off to this side. I won't lie to any of you because I'm currently playing in DM Bacon's Odyssey of the Dragon Wars campaign. This could be the room that you fight the basilisks in. This could be the room. Like this could very well be the room. We have another 12 by 16 map. This one's like your forest camp hideaway. This would have been the map I would have used if I had it back in the day for when the will-o-wisps tried to lead my party astray. Like, I would have used this map. This map is perfect for that. Let's flip it over, see what's on the other side. Oh, town. Listen, in every civilized world, there's got to be a town here or there. This is a pretty simple town map. It doesn't like have the insides of the houses, but there's enough here for you to just be like, hey, you're in town now. Throw this down. Be like, oh, this is this house. This is such and such's houses. This is where the blacksmith lives. That's where the merchant is. Yada, yada, yada. Like, this is, you need these to fill out the world if you want to have town interaction. So this is a good map. Here's your, oh, hey, it's spooky season map. There's some fog built in. There's a bunch of ruins. Like, you have to go explore the local haunted house. Maybe you will, in fact, find. Oh, I just realized there's a boat crashed here, and if you look at the very edges of the map, there's water. So this is just like an island outpost that's been abandoned. That makes it even cooler, even more of a mystery for your players to go through. It kind of looks like glare as I'm watching the camera, but there's like fog built in because this island, you're not supposed to be able to find it. This is where the mysteries are. And no campaign would be complete without a tavern. I cannot tell you how many tavern maps I have in my collection, but you can never have too many taverns. There's a whole series of epic encounters that are just stories about taverns, and each of them comes with a new tavern. Like, you can never have too many because your party always needs a place to unwind. We've got another 12 by 16. This one, super simple, but this one gives me Genshin Impact vibes when you go to, I think it's Spinebreak? I forgot what the name of the mountain is. The big snowy mountain where Durin died. At the beginning, there's that little area and you have to wait for it to fill up. That's what this gives me vibes of. And I love this. Clearly there is something in that water that y'all are going to have to deal with. Other side, a very stylized, almost cartoony view of like the town square in a wintry village. I think back to DM Bacon's original campaign that he was running, where we ran into a town that was like inhabited by yetis and other cold-dwelling folks, and there was a young, I guess technically she's an adult white dragon who was like the matriarch of the town, except she was nice and not evil. Like, I would imagine this is where we would be hanging out. And I like that. Here's a more very realistic. This one is almost gives me more of like a Metro vibe, or honestly, it gives me a Horizon vibe. Like, you come into this ruined building and there's a bunch of old world tech that's now broken, and you're just using it as a barricade. You could use this for a zombie game as well. This is where your team sets up shelter if you're playing zombie survival horror type campaign. This could work. This is probably the most contemporary map in this group. Like, even though this is clearly in the future where we've already blown each other up. Fallout, that kind of thing. But the back, baby. Honestly, this was the first map that like I pulled out of the set and was like, oh, yes, this is what I want. This is a village on the back of a dragon turtle. Sick. And a cool thing here is that there are extra spots like off the map that are the insides of the other buildings. So you can be like, oh yeah, your players go in here, and then you can describe to them like, you're in this room right now, you're here. Or you're going to different layers of this tower, oh, you're here now. That's a neat idea. It might confuse some people because they're not necessarily connected, but it is cool that they gave you those options, that they're there, everything's already described. And also, you're just on the back of a dragon turtle. That's sick! There's another map that I didn't try to put the guides on, but they got damaged, either coming into or coming out of the tube. This is like the barracks that everyone wants to hang out at. There's so many beds and little bedrooms. There's a huge mess hall for you to eat at. Honestly, I think I'm going to use this map for Thanksgiving type stuff. I was looking for a map exactly like this, and that is what I'm going to use, because I have to make some Thanksgiving setups. And then here is a nice little basement, something in town. But hey, there's also, I was going to say there's hidden rooms, but actually no. They just carved everything out. Honestly, if you, wait a minute. I was going to say, honestly, you could use this as Tresender Manor. This is Tresender Manor. This is a map of Tresender Manor. That's cool. Because you come down the stairs here, there's the well, there's the storeroom, the jail cells, the 3 tombs. This is where the traps are. This is the crevice where the Nothic is supposed to dwell, but in my game we used a different creature down there. This is the spider's lair. This is Tresender Manor in Phandalin. That's really cool. I would love to know who made this, because I was like, yo, you know what? This looks super familiar. It sure does. I wonder how many of the other maps are based on things. Like, was one of those supposed to be Agatha's Manse in Lost Mines of Phandalin? This is really, really cool. I designed my own Tresender Manor underbelly, but like this is really cool that this just exists. Like, you can be just playing Lost Mines of Phandalin and be like, wham! Here's the basement of Tresender Manor. Next up, we've got the last set of maps, which I'm getting is 35 by 23, but this particular map, obviously, it's not the full distance. So give me a sec and I will tell you what the full distance is. Actual usable space, 34 by 22, and it's just a straight, here's the layout of the field that you're in, and then you can fill this map out exactly how you see fit. And on the back side, the same exact thing, but like a sandy base to lay out the rest of your maps and your stuff on. These are good if you want to build your own map on them, because again, you can use the dry erase markers to just be like, sweet, 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 and draw your maps. But it's also good if you want to put multiple sections of a map down as well. And because the actual usable space doesn't start at the exact edges of the map, that's good, because it means you can put those guides on and make sure that this doesn't unfurl. When your map starts at the very edge of the map, there's a high chance your players are going to knock stuff over or smash things with their computers or books like my players do. So this is good to put it just up a little bit on the inside. You lose a little bit of extra space. Like you probably could have fit another inch all around, but like whatever. I think this is honestly a better idea. The next big map in this group is the same idea, but for water. And that makes total sense. If you're out to sea, you can put your boat minis on it. You can do whatever you need to do just to be like, hey, we're out at sea now. I need water. This is where you can fight the Kraken if you want to. On the other side, hey, you're out in the tundra. You're on the ice. This is all slippery, slidey terrain. This picture, again, looks like either the image itself was low fidelity or somebody re-rendered the picture a whole bunch of times before they got it printed out. That's fine, though. Your players really aren't going to be looking at the floor. The third really big map is just like, here's the city. Like, this is your cobblestone, your stone floor. You probably need this if you're doing a castle siege or something like that. Though you might expect the insides of the castle to be dirt and rather than stone. But like if you've got a cobblestone street, you could definitely run this as like being in Waterdeep or inside of Baldur's Gate. The other side, though, is a bit more drastic because you're either in hell or there's a bunch of lava that you're going to have to deal with. This one a bit scarier than the rest. And finally, the last big map is actually a special one, but you will also notice that it is slightly misprinted. I don't know if that's for everybody or just my particular one, but it is slightly misprinted. So on one side, you have a shipwreck, which is kind of cool, except it's weird that the footprints are leading towards the shore with the treasure chest, unless that's the whole thing. You want people to follow that. I guess it doesn't have to be a shipwreck. You could be docked here and be like, oh, there's a dead guy there. How'd they die? That's a little too convenient if someone died right on the edge of the water and dropped all their money for you to be like, oh yeah, we got to get rich, boys and girls. And then the backside of this, the final map in this amazing set, is a desert scene. Now, the cool thing is, because this one's slightly misprinted, the misprint doesn't affect you at all because it's pushed off the edge of where the actual usable map is. This could be a desert, or this could just be, again, this is like evoking, for me, Scarlet Rot. There's just poison in there. There's a weird bog in the middle of here, but everything else got dried out. There's weird kind of spider web over here. I don't know if spiders would just be out in the open, but you could make some weird, like, spider-scorpion hybrid thing if you wanted to. They're both arachnids, it's fine. But yeah, that was everything in this Sabermaster 32 map set, but really it's 16 and they're double-sided. It's got 3 different size maps. It's got a poster tube that's super cool that you can definitely use for other stuff if you wanted to. Telescoping kind. Dry erase markers, dice, guidelines for your maps so that they don't unfurl. This would be a great starter set, especially if you're choosing to start your campaign in like Lost Mines of Phandelver. The fact that it has a map specifically for Tresender Manor's basement is really, really cool. I didn't specifically recognize any of the other maps, but that one, like, I've seen a lot of, and I've seen many renditions of, and I have my own rendition. The maps don't necessarily all have the same art style, but I don't know any table where they're like, no, I have to use all the same exact minis from the same set. We can only use maps from like one particular artist. Listen, you gotta use what you got. And if you have nothing else, this is actually honestly a good starter set. It doesn't have minis or anything like that, but like for starting off, for DMs starting out, this is great because not only does it have basic setup stuff, it also has a bunch of blank stuff so you can make up things as you go along. Like the big terrain mats where you can just make stuff up, that is extremely helpful, both for your players and also for your, like, just you and your creativity. Like, let it go, man. Go, go, go. One thing I do want to do before I end this video, though, is see how well these whiteboard markers erase. So I'm going to grab a black one, and I'm just going to Draw some arrows. And some X's here or there. And then I'm just going to see if they erase. I'm going to use one of their erasers. Some of the markers. Oh, that's nice. These are good. I don't need any Expo marker erase goo or water or alcohol. That erased really nicely. That's good to know. I'm going to keep that in mind. This is a good set of whiteboard markers and erasers. A lot of the ones you get like just as a bonus are Garbo, but these are pretty freaking good. And also good lamination on the maps themselves, because that's happening. I hope you players of all classes enjoyed this, and if you like to do something you like, if you want to see more content like this, sub, and I will see you all later in the next one. There's so much more D&D stuff that I need to show off, and I want to share with you. So be on the lookout for that.